All right, yo, what's going on between the game sports? I don't know what happened right there, but we're back giving a recap of the game that just happened between Jackson State University and the University of Louisiana Monroe. If you're a Jackson State fan, you're upset, but you should not be upset. Your defense is outstanding. Your defense is superb. It is great, man. I can't say enough about them. Uh, those guys played their heart out, and you really, really, really have to give it up to them. They did all that they could. Offense is slacking and is lacking, but we'll get into that in a second. So, but their defense, you can't be mad because they just held a FBS opponent to 4 field goals at home. 4 field goals at home. You cannot be mad at that. You're going on the road. This is basically your third straight road game. Jackson State has not played a home game yet. They played in Florida against FAMU. They played in Tennessee against Tennessee State. And then they go on the road again. They go down to Louisiana Monroe and they play another road game. So your defense, your team starts off 3 straight games on the road. So you cannot be mad if you're a Jackson State fan about your defense. Now, offensively, and I told y'all folks, I told y'all during the stream, people are going to come out the woodworks and try to blame and say, I told you so about Shadur Sanders. But that kid actually played well. He really played well. Offensively, their receivers have to catch some balls. He's putting some balls right on the money, and guys are dropping passes. So, and then like a lot of people are saying, well, that interception cost him the game. Yeah and no. He shouldn't have thrown it. He should have hit the check down guy that was right in front of him, but it happens. But there's too many drop passes. There's too many drop passes. And I appreciate those who are in here. I know it's late. It's 11 o'clock where I'm at right now. I know it's later on the East Coast. But these guys, I just had to get this out because I know people are going to come out and try to get on Jackson State about I told you so. They're not good. It's not. That team is really, really, really good right now, and their offense is lacking. So imagine once their offense catches up. Imagine when guys stop dropping passes. Imagine when they get some form of a running game. The running game is non-existent. I mean, absolutely non-existent. And it's going to take some time, but now they finally get a chance to go home. They play against Delta State. They get a chance to go back to the drawing board. They get a chance to just wake up and still be in their dorms, not being on the road. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the game room, game film, and figure it out. They have to get a running game. It is too much pressure for a young quarterback in Shadur Sanders to try to be great all the time. Now, there was a penalty against Jackson State late in the game that stopped ULM on I believe it was a third down play. They get a sack, and the referee calls a horse collar call. That's just tough. I mean, very, very tough to deal with after the defense had been spent a lot of time on the field. And I can even go back to the targeting call really the first quarter that took one of their best. And I think at the time they said that that kid had 4.5 sacks last week. So you take that kid out the game, and a lot of things change. And a lot of things change. You see ULM start getting some better plays, starting getting open a little more. And shout out to ULM's coaching staff. They made an adjustment from the starting quarterback, Rich Rodriguez, who's the son of Rich Rodriguez, who used to be the coach at West Virginia, I believe, in Arizona. They made a switch from that young kid, and went to the backup, and that backup gave them a different dynamic. It gave them a different speed. And Jackson State struggled to adjust to that a little bit. So shout out to ULM's coaching staff for being able to make those adjustments on the fly. And even with that being said, Jackson State's defense held those guys to 4 field goals. The kid was 4 for 6. And so if I'm a JSU fan right now, I'm happy that we competed. We made some silly mistakes, but you got to keep going. Right? You can't hold your head on this loss. In my opinion, it's a good loss. You know what you have to go back and do. You know some things you need to correct. You need to cut down on some of the silly penalties. There was a moment in the game in the first half where I think Jackson State should have punted. It was right before the end of the first half. They had just scored a touchdown. They get a stop, and they're on their own like 45 or 40-yard line. It's 3rd and 8. They don't get it, and then it's 4th and 8. And I think they should have punted. I said it in the stream. They should have punted and made ULM go the length of the field, and they ended up getting a sack, or Shadur Sanders ended up fumbling the ball. Luckily, his knee was down because ULM picked it up, went and scored, and that really could have changed some things. I appreciate those who are in here, man. Please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell button for notification. We're doing a recap of the JSU game versus ULM. It was a great game in my opinion. It was a great game in my opinion. Great defensive battle, man. I know a lot of the people these days, they don't like to see defensive battles, but that defensive coordinator for Jackson State called a great game. Now, there were some moments where I think he shouldn't have blitzed, but that's me on the outside looking in because the front four was getting the job done. And I think he decided to change once that star, I want to say it's a star defensive end, I'm sorry, who got called for a targeting call, which really set ULM up, and it should have put JSU up early because they had a chance to pin them in. They were in the own end zone, and they called that targeting call, which I think is a crappy rule. They've changed it a little bit, but I think it's a crappy rule. I think they should go to more of the basketball format. If you get a targeting call, consider it as a tech, like in basketball. So if you get your second targeting call, now you're out. But if you get a targeting call one time in football, college football, you're done. And I think that's crap. It changes the whole perspective of the game. And it usually happens to star players on the defensive side because the star players are usually the ones making the plays defensively. Ghost 007, what's up, man? Ugly football is the way to go. Grit and grind defense, old school. I really enjoyed that game, man. I really did. And I wasn't even going to get on here. I've been talking for hours. Ghost 007 says, used to play flag football back in middle school. I was cooking on the defensive end. That 3-4 defense was the way to go. Good look, man. Good look. It was a very grit and grind type of game. But that targeting crap has got to go. They have got to change that. Make it the form where you get 2 of them, then you're out. It changes the perspective of the whole game. Defensive coordinators has to adjust, and that's part of coaching. But like I said during the stream, defensive players are not set up to be successful. If a defensive player is going all out and he leaves his feet to make a tackle and that running back or quarterback changes their direction from which they originally jumped from to tackle, and they get hit in the head, that is not the defensive player's fault. It is not fair to the defense if they have a job to do just like the offensive players have a job to do. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said in the stream, some people were saying that the referees were, giving them ULM this and that. But whether it's, I'm sitting outside, there's a helicopter going by. But whether it's You're playing the refs or whoever, you still got to play. You still got to try to get the job done. So Jackson State, don't hold your head down. You play Delta State next week, which you should beat them pretty easily. You go in there, you correct some things. You got to get better at running the ball. Find your running back who can fill the gap, hit the hole fast, and stop playing around in the backfield. Offensive line, you got to have some pride about yourself. Back in the day, they used to be able to line up. All old linemen used to want to run through dudes. That used to be a thing for a lot of old linemen, man. Forget pass blocking. I'd rather do rush blocking and run through somebody, get to the second level to the linebackers, and clear some space. Now, ULM is a FBS school, it's a lower tier FBS school, but nobody picked Jackson State to win this game. A lot of people expected them to lose by 10 or more points. They held that team 12 to 12 points off of 4 field goals. Usually, if you can do that, you win those type of games. You win those type of games. So I want JSU fans to hold their head up, don't trip. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna compete in the in the SWAC for a championship more than likely. Alabama A&M is gonna be a tough test. I think you play them in like 2 weeks. ULM, they hadn't won a game in forever, so they needed that game, and pride was on the line for those guys. And then shout out to the backup quarterback. I don't have any names in front of me right now, but he made a difference. He made a difference, and their defense played pretty good. Their defense played pretty good, but not to the level of Jackson State. ULM was supposed to easily win that game. If y'all go look it up, most pundits, most media personalities gave Jackson State only a 7% chance to win that game. Ghost 007 said, "Hey man, Dudley would be a great, a great fit to play offensive line or offensive guard. He would be sitting on dudes and destroying the food court at hometown buffet." Hey, ooh, I lost $400 because of that dude. The Lakers season came. Hey, don't bet, man. Don't bet with that. That's a lot of money to lose, but if you got it, go ahead. But I just want to give a shout out to Shadur Sanders. That kid is playing with the level of maturity of a seasoned junior or a senior. He had some freshman mistakes today, but if y'all watching him, if you're watching him and watching the game, he has calm feet in the pocket. He is poised. There's been plenty of times where the defense is blitzing. He's reading it quickly, or he's staying in there. He's staying in there. Watch the game. Go back and watch the game. He's staying in there knowing he's going to get hit and he's delivering the ball. And y'all, please hit that like button. Share it if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube. Subscribe, like, hit the thumbs up button, and hit that bell button for me. Again, this is game recap of Jackson State versus ULM. I didn't want to get on here and do this, but it's late. I've been talking since 7 o'clock, but it is what it is. And as y'all get through this and the next day, tomorrow and Friday, y'all watch how many Jackson State University haters come out. Y'all watch how many say, "I told you so." But if you really paid attention to the game, they should have won that game. And they'll win it. They'll win it in the future. They'll win those type of games in the future. This is a young team that's growing together. It's a very new team. A lot of transfers. A lot of transfers. So they will be fun. ULM has to do some things. They have to figure out their offense. They have to figure out what quarterback they're gonna go with. And Rick Rodriguez, he's the son of Rich Rodriguez. He has to do better. He didn't play very well. That's why he got benched. So ULM has to figure out what quarterback they want to roll with. Their offensive running game was terrible as well. I mean, absolutely terrible. So, but was it because they can't run the ball or because the defenses on both sides were so good? But I've been thoroughly impressed. I've seen Jackson State play 3 times. I've been thoroughly impressed with them. And for Jackson State, they continue to get off to these slow starts and hoping that their defense is going to continue to save them. You got to be able to play from the rip. And I think that's probably why they I didn't see the coin toss, but if they won the coin toss and they chose to go to receive the ball, maybe that's what they tried to do to get off to an early start. But they're not getting all 3 games. They have not gotten off to a good start. So I want them to figure it out, figure out who they are. I would like to see a little more screens. The other thing is, I saw, and people are going to blame that kid, but I think they call him Nugget. He tried to make a play on a kickoff return, and he more than likely he should have fair caught the ball. He should have fair caught the ball like they did the first 2 times. ULM had figured out that they couldn't get a good defensive kickoff, so they started doing a little pooch kick. And the first 2 times, Jackson State fair caught it. And the third time, the kid, I believe they call him Nugget, he tried to make a play, and and he got popped. The defender put his helmet on the ball. He got popped and it came loose. So you can't hold that against that kid. He tried to make a play. That's what he does. So they're not mad at him for trying to make a play, but I think he should have called a fair catch. Again, man, y'all please hit that like button for me and share the show if you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. All right, you can find me on all social media, Facebook. It's going to be a great, great season for Jackson State. I believe they will win the SWAC East. I'm sorry, the SWAC West. Other people say differently. They believe Alabama A&M is going to win it. They saying PVU is going to win it. Shout out to PV. They won today against Houston Baptist, I believe. Shout out to PV. Southern lost today, and Jackson State lost today. Um, but it's going to be interesting in the SWAC, especially in the West. So Jackson State has some time. They got 1 to 2 weeks to go back to the drawing board, figure out who they are, figure out if they can run the ball. If not, they have to give up on running altogether. But that was a very, very entertaining game. If you're old school like myself, great defense. They were big hits. Shiloh Sanders, man, that young kid, he's just a sophomore. He comes and he lays the wood. He brings his hard hat almost every game. Sometimes that hurts him. Sometimes that hurts him because he might miss a tackle. But it is what it is. Again, Jackson State is a young team. They're going to be fine. I don't see ULM winning very many more games unless they go to that backup quarterback that they have. So, but y'all watch how many YouTubers, y'all watch how much the media gets on Jackson State about them losing. Right? When you're great, I'll say this: when you're great, no one says anything when you win. But as soon as you lose, here they come. Just like haters. No one hates on greatness. I'm sorry. No one hates on mediocrity. They hate on greatness. So if you're getting hated on and you're getting haters, 9 times out of 10, that means you're doing something right. And of course, there are many, many trolls in this universe, especially on social media. There was one during the stream. His name was Mike or something like that. I don't even want to say his name. He was just saying that Shadura sucks. I mean, the game had just started. Shadura sucks. He sucks. And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? Then he says that Shadur is his pass percentage completion is terrible. And I'm like, dude, go look up the stats. He is at like a 75% completion rating. He had no interceptions until this game right here. So he had about 100 and something pass attempts before he had his first interception. And this is playing with the pressure of being a four-star recruit, the son of a head coach, the son of an all-time great, the son of a Hall of Famer, the son of a one of the most recognizable guys that walked this earth in football, and he's handling it with great poise and understanding. And what I found out during the stream, Shadur Sanders is a smart kid. They said that he could have went to Harvard or Cornell or something of that nature. And now I can see why he does some of the things that he does in the game. He's able to hit the check down defender. He's able to take what the defense is just giving him and not trying to force it all the time. So JSU fans, y'all gonna be fine. Don't trip. ULM fans, you got to figure out your quarterback situation. But again, I just wanted to get on that real quick. Don't want to hold you. Y'all have fun tonight. Be careful if you're out and about. If you're at home, sleep well. I'll see you guys soon, as I always do when I try to get off these things. On your best day, be better. Think about it. Until next time, it's Between the Game Sports. I'm out. Peace.